Welcome to Provence. I'm here for the lavender season, which is in full bloom right now. It's 30th of June and I've been discovering the area around me for the last few days or so. Where am I? This is the Plateau de Valensole, and if you want to come to somewhere and learn about leading lines and stuff, this is probably the most ideal place you could come to. Beautiful scenery, gorgeous lavender around, and also the smell that's coming off the lavender at the moment when you drive around is absolutely beautiful. It's amazing to be here. It's not my first time here, but it's the first time that I've had time to actually spend the time and really get to know the area. So I'll just show you what it is that I'm up to right now here on the Plateau de Valensole. At the moment the camera is pointed straight down towards a lone tree in the middle of the frame there. The horizon is set just below the centre, as I found that putting it on a third is actually losing too much and putting too much sky in. So you can see these nice leading lines here, and there's a mountain in the background as well, adds a bit of interest. I did have about 10 minutes or so the sunlight on the scene. At the moment there's a bank of cloud which is off to this side here, which is frustrating the lights at the moment, but thankfully I did get what I was after. But you can see here, if I just turn the camera, this is the gorgeous scenery here on the Plateau de Valensole. Here on the Plateau de Valensole, and also many other areas where they are growing lavender, it is in fact private property, and there are some communal paths as well that you can go down. At the moment I believe I am on one of those communal paths. So if you do come here in lavender season and you want these iconic shots looking towards lone trees and things like this, please do be aware of where it is that you're walking, because this is somebody's livelihood at the end of the day. They're not doing this just for fun and just planting all this gorgeous lavender here just for tourists to come and see. This is a working area of France. It is how they make their living every day. So just please be aware of that if you do come here to shoot the lavender in June and July. This evening I'm overlooking the small village of Moustier-Saint-Marie. It's Beau Village de France here on the edge of the Plateau de Valensole. The lavender and all the Plateau de Valensole is probably about 5 miles maybe that way or so, something like that. So just over there to my left is the little village down there. I keep wanting to say city, but it's just a small town, small village, and it's overlooked by these huge cliffs here, quite extraordinary looking cliffs there. And I've been trying to find a point of view looking over there towards the village. This morning I was here scouting the area, actually over towards the top of the village. There's a path that you can walk up that you have a view over the village and then down to, there's a lake over there. I don't know the name of the lake, sorry, but you get a view sort of over the countryside. But this morning in the tourist office they said to me, if you really want a different view, you need to walk out of the village and then walk around a path, and you end up in an olive grove and you look over towards the village that's over there. So if I just turn the camera, you should be able to see what it is I'm looking at. So it's just over there. If I turn back again, so this morning I was on the Plateau de Valensole and I got an amazing dawn. Not very much cloud in the sky, but still beautiful light illuminating the lavender on the Plateau de Valensole. So I was very, very happy with what I got there. I'm going to be heading back there in about 5 minutes or so, after I've just explained what it is that I'm up to here. Strapped onto my tripod there's the Canon 60, and on the front there's my Heliopan polarizer. The lens wise it's Canon 17 to 40L. I did try the 24mm tilt shift just to see if it would actually be able to get in everything that I wanted. So from the village down here up to this rock up here, I really wanted to get everything just in frame, in shot, and looking as nice as I could. It's not perfect, but it's certainly a different view that you get. If you do go in to the village itself and you want another view, there's over here is the bell tower, and up the cliff there goes a path, and then you get a view all over here. It looks fantastic. It looks absolutely amazing. Typical kind of Provence village scenes here. So there you go, that's the kind of scene that I'm up to at the moment. I'll just explain what it is that's going on in camera. Okay, so this isn't what's going to go on the camera, but there's just too much light coming from the sun up to my right hand side to be able to show the back of the camera. But essentially I've tried to just cut out as much that I could that makes the scene look kind of interesting. You could use a long lens to get into the village itself, but then you would lose all of the rock face up there. This gorgeous looking rock face that's being illuminated by the evening sun. So I just tried to make the scene look as tidy as I can. And as I said, there's a heliopan polarizer on there. It is adding just a touch more blue into the sky. Outside of that, I can't really explain that much more because, as I said, there's just too much sun. So what's going to go on from here? Well, what I'm going to do is going to go back to my car, which is going to take probably about 25 minutes walk to go all the way back down this path down here, and then right down there is my car. It's probably going to take about 25 minutes. I'm going to go back to the Plateau de Valensole. I've got a shot in mind, and I've been trying to find somewhere for sunset, and I haven't really had much luck really just sort of finding something that looks as though it would be pleasing at sunset. But I've got something in mind, and I think it may work, but there may be a lot of people that are going to be in the field, as it's very, very popular up there with all the lavender, as you can imagine, in full bloom at the moment. So let's go and let's see what it is that I can do up there, and maybe see if I can get some kind of sunset. So I found somewhere for sunset. It's a possibility. I've got this really lovely lavender field, which obviously there's loads around here, but there's lavender fields and there's lavender fields. If you ever come to the Plateau de Valensole, what you'll see is that there's some lavender fields that are very well kept, and some that are they've got loads of weeds and all sorts of stuff in them. But this one here, and that's to my right hand side, looks very, very nice. So I had to stop, pull over and see what it is that I could do with it. Is it going to work for sunset? I don't know. I may very quickly move, but I'll just show you what it is that I'm looking at so you can get an idea of why it is that I stopped here on the Plateau de Valensole. This is how my camera is pointed at the moment towards, it's looking northwest, I believe. So you can see this lavender field here is actually quite a large field, and it's pointing towards the Prealps, which are the mountains just here. And that is where dawn is in the morning as well. So this is also a possibility of maybe for dawn. This is just outside Valensole itself. Valensole, if I just turn the camera, is just over there. So I'll just turn back again. So as you can see, it's my Canon 6D, the 1.4 extender, and then the 24mm tilt shift, which has got some front tilt on it, as well as some drop shift, just to bring everything into the perspective that I want. But there you go, that's an end of the day shot for me. I'm going to go off, see if I can find somewhere very, very quickly for sunset, because the shadows going on here, the nice shadow that I had has gone, and I would prefer something a bit different to what I've got now. But it's certainly a place I would come back to, that's for sure. And but there you go, the amazing Plateau de Valensole in Provence. Landscape photography is not just about those beautiful dawns and those sunsets, those fiery sunsets, the early morning light, the evening light. There's a lot of research that goes into the photography that us landscapers do. So this morning, what I've been doing on my last free day of my trip in Provence is I've been looking around, not the Plateau de Valensole, but actually another plateau where they are growing lavender. And I found a point of view that's got some lavender here in the foreground, and also a small village over there in the background. I also think there's another road that might actually get me closer with some more lavender again. So I've just been spending time looking around. I'm not too worried about it being the best light. It's just for me a recce shot, just trying to find somewhere. So why am I doing this apart from just for my own benefit? Well, later on today I'm teaming up with David Clapp, who will be coming here with a group of people. And because I speak French, David is interested in using my skills as both a photographer and also somebody that speaks French to help him when he's doing his workshop over the next few days. So he's here for a week or so, and he'll also be doing another workshop next year in Provence, and hopefully I'll be joining him next year to do a workshop for a week in Provence. But I'm going to help him for a couple of days, and I've been scouting the area, just seeing what I can find, seeing if I can find things that might interest him. And I think this is something that it may interest him, it may not, but that's part of what I'm doing with David, is discussing things and seeing if we can find places that are off the beaten trail, away from the hordes of people that you will see in the fields on the Plateau de Valensole. So I'll just show you what it is that I'm up to. This is the view that I found this morning. It's just before 9 o'clock, so the light is pretty much finished for this morning. It's now getting too harsh. But as I said, it's a recce shot. I've been working on stuff for when David Clapp arrives later on, just to say to him there's some kind of off the beaten track places that I found that may or may not interest you. But it's basically just trying to work as a team and just trying to scout things, just so we've got a very good knowledge of the area that we want to bring people to. So as you can see here in the front there's some lavender fields going down the hill. There's some more lavender fields just around here, and then there's a village which is just there. I won't say the name of the village as I just want to keep it under my hat, but you can see in the background there's some mountains, the Pre-Alps, and just absolutely beautiful, way off the tourist track. There's no hordes of people here which you find on the Plateau de Valensole. So that's the kind of recce shot that I've been looking for. Does it work? Kind of works, we'll see. It would certainly work in the morning, as dawn is just, see if I can point out, dawn should be somewhere around there, is where the sun is coming up, somewhere around there, or maybe just off camera, I'm not quite sure. Certainly sunset is off this way, so it should be nice side lighting at the end of the day on this particular point of view overlooking this this plateau here. Now what I'm going to do now is start signing off, and also tell you about something that's coming up that I'm working with David with, that we're going to be doing next year. So I'll just start signing off. As I mentioned, I'm going to be working with David Clapp. We've got a couple of projects in mind that we're going to do. One of them is, as I said, I'm here trying to find things for him before he arrives with a tour group later on today. But also next year we've got a 7-day workshop in Tuscany in May, from the 5th to the 12th of May. So there'll be all the details on my website. So if you go to www.julianelliottphotography.com, you'll see all of the details of what it is that we're going to be doing in Tuscany next year. We've managed to secure some fantastic farmhouse accommodation in the middle of the Val d'Orcia, very near to Pienza. We should be very well taken care of from what we've seen. So we'll be given breakfast every day, and if we want, we can buy 4-course dinner out of the accommodation as well. They'll make us a typical Tuscan dinner. So myself and David will be leading that tour next year in the Val d'Orcia of Tuscany in May. So it's an amazing place, and you may remember from previous vlogs I mentioned I would be in Italy in the Dolomites. It's somewhere else that's kind of on our radar to do. We're just going to see if that'll work out or not. What else? Not really much else. I'm not sure when the next vlog's going to be. I'm got a break coming up and family holiday, but until then, what I am going to say is thank you again, of course, to all my subscribers. Thank you so much to all of you that have subscribed in the last few weeks or so. Very appreciated, and thanks so much. Do keep watching, do keep commenting, and see you again soon, whenever that'll be. Probably back in the Loire Valley, I imagine, somewhere, because the sunflower season is getting ready, so I've got a few things in mind that I'll be showing to you. But thanks, and see you soon.